Welcome back to the show, everybody. Hopefully we can round out this Farmall H restoration project today. We are finally ready to apply the decals. All the tin work is in place, paint is all dry, and it's been a long, strange road getting here. What was supposed to be a rather straightforward, quick cosmetic restoration on an otherwise mechanically sound tractor really threw us a lot of curveballs. Bad cylinder head, and then I just about went blind in one eye, and then wrong head gasket, loosened a sleeve, caused a knock, had to go back in, cylinder head off again, fix that. It's been one thing after another, but we've been steadily pecking away at it, and we're finally nearing the end. So just a quick recap. The only decal I've applied so far is the one next to, we gotta get you over there. There we are. The one next to the light switch right there. That it was just easiest to do that back during the electrical install phase. So aside from that, we have a bare tractor, but we've got a bench full of decals. Two different sets here. Why is that? Well, I'll explain. Now, once again, I'm referring everyone back to the Farmall Letter Series Tractors Originality Guidebook by Guy Fay and Andy Crushar. I know I've featured this book quite often, but it's really a necessity for anyone that is doing anything with letter series Farmalls. And Appendix B in the back, decal listings and placement. There's just a gold mine of information back here regarding which tractors carried which decals, when all the changes happened, diagrams for placement. It's really an invaluable source. Now, the only area where this book falls short is in the Farmall H department. The archive information that they used to compile all of this was missing a few key pages regarding the Farmall H tractor. But we can reference to the Super H tractor in here. That's placement is much the same as the regular H. It's just the decal styles changed just a bit. But this still tells us exactly what we need and where. But the other parts of the book do a pretty good breakdown of where you want to place the rest of the decals per different model year. Excellent schematics. So this is pretty much what we're using to decide how we're going to decal the 45H here today. So with that said, I've got two decal sets on the bench. This is the older style decal set for the H. This is the newer style over here. And my 1945H kind of falls right in between the two. So we'll be picking elements from each one to combine into a hybrid set, if you will, that will most accurately represent what this tractor would have had originally. These are also just the readily available pre-made sets that are found through the popular tractor supply stores. There are other places you can go that will give you possibly higher quality decal sets and more accurate, but for this working tractor, this is what I chose to go with. So one other thing too, these are laser cut vinyl decals. These are not the Mylar. Okay, I do not like the Mylar decals because Mylar has that transparent surround that goes around all the lettering, and it doesn't age well over time. It protects the paint that's behind it, but as the exposed paint around it fades or scratches or whatever, that Mylar protects everything back behind, and then you very quickly can see the outline of that Mylar framework. So the laser cut decals, just the letters are the decals. All right, once we pull all of this backing and facing material off, all that will be sticking to the paint is just the lettering and the emblems that you see. So to build the set that I want, I need these earlier style grill side decals that say McCormick Deering Farmall. Okay, that would be correct for the H. These newer style that just went to the McCormick Farmall and added the IH logo, they weren't adopted until a bit later, like possibly late 46 or even beyond that. So these go away. These will be used. The H emblems are the same, so they don't matter. All right, so we'll take one of those away. Now we get into like the oil filter decal. This is the earlier style for the taller filter canister. I've got the shorter filter canister, so this is not going to work for my 45. We also have this drawbar attaching decal that's much bigger. that's also not going to work. The air cleaner is the same. Light switch we already don't need to worry about. So I'll just switch this out for the later equivalents. Okay, this is our smaller oil filter decal, which matches the short filter. Air cleaner decal is the same. Here's our smaller drawbar hookup warning decal. And we've got the gear shift decal. Once again, we don't need to worry about those light switch ones. We've already covered that. So that means that gear shift decal is a duplicate. This brake warning decal is the same early to late, but I also need the additional warning decals that are on here for the cooling system, for PTO, things like that. So this will be discarded. We'll use the later styles there. And the early style had this safety first generic warning decal, and I've seen this on my Caterpillars, on Farmalls, on just about everybody used this back in the day, but this is too early to be on a 45. So I'll save this. This will probably go on another machine sometime in the future. So here's our set that we've built. It's what I'm going to be the happiest with for this tractor. So let's start putting them on. So we start with our McCormick Deering Farmall, centrally located on this main flat body line accent of the hood line. So between this point right here and this point right here, center it up, and our standoff relief on the bottom up from that that accent line is already built into the backing of the decal. So we just need to center it up here, and I'm to the point I do these by eyeball. You can measure it if you want, but I can assure you they were not using measuring tapes at the factory when they placed these. So one has to remember that most of this was done kind of on a mass production basis, so they didn't spend a whole lot of time trying to make sure everything was carbon copy perfect. We'll just work it up evenly, making sure not to wrinkle anything. And you want to be sure to get the letters well pressed into the paint. I personally don't use one of those plastic forming tools. I just use my fingers. One trick I've learned is to pretty much only concentrate on just the letters, not the backing. Don't press the backing any tighter, or the facing, I should say. Don't press the facing any tighter in than what you really have to. You definitely want the letters to stick better than the facing. That way when you peel the facing off, they will not want to go with it. Corner of that L wanted to lift. So we just go back, press it back in. And of course, same on the other side. There we've got it. All right, next up are the Model H decals, and here's something that a lot of people don't realize. These H letters are not perfectly symmetrical. Okay, so you got the crossbar in the middle, and the legs above the crossbar are about 3/4 of an inch long, but the legs below the crossbar are about 7/8. So how do you prefer your H? Do you prefer it with the crossbar biased up towards the top, or with it slightly down toward the bottom? It's entirely up to you. There is no reference that tells you which way to put it. I personally like it biased up toward the top. And these need to be located 1/2 of an inch inside of the radiused body line accent on both sides of the hood. So I'll show you a little trick that I use to properly position them. Very simple. Just take a ruler and we'll just make a few dash marks 1/2 of an inch off of the outside of the circle there. Okay, just enough where we can start plotting a line. Put one more on here real quick. Okay, that's enough right there. We can just connect all the dots, join them up. All right, so there is our 1/2 inch spacing right there. You then just take a scissors and, come on man, cut down the line. There we are. Cut it out just like that. So now when we go to place this up against that radiused curve, we can just align that, boom, right up against that body line. Gets our placement all figured out for us. No need to measure. So we line up our pre-cut edge with that body line radius. Try to keep the decal flat. That's one thing I struggle with. Concentrate so much on one area that sometimes I can put a wrinkle in it. Need to come up a little bit like that. And other side. Moving on up to the top of the grill, we are applying the Be Careful pressure cooling system. Remove cap slowly decal. And typical placement for these is just to the right side of the radiator cap as viewed from the operator's platform. And we want to be 1/2 inch in from the body line right there, and also 1/2 inch in from the edge of the raised center rib. Goes right down the middle of everything. So get that one pushed on in. See if we can't peel that facing. There we are. Very good. Up in the operator's seat now, we're applying the gear shift decal and the brake warning decal. For placement, this is exactly how it is worded in the book. So the top edge of the gear shift decal is 18 1/2 inches back from the body line crease where the hood meets the fuel tank. Centered, of course, on the rib that goes down the middle of the fuel tank. Once that is in place, the brake warning then is located 1/2 of an inch above the top edge of the gear shift decal. So that's your standoff gap between the two. Once again, centrally located on the tank. All right, very good. Next up, oil filter instruction decal. Once again, this is the later, shorter style filter canister, and bottom of decal needs to be placed 2 inches up from the oil filter base. Other side of the tractor now, air cleaner oil cup decal, placed 1/2 of an inch up from the bottom of the cup. And finally, we'll finish up at the rear of the tractor. On the back of the seat is the drawbar warning decal. No real dimensions listed for placement, but going by some of the archive photos, this is right in the neighborhood. And last, the be careful, stop power takeoff before dismounting from tractor decal, centrally located on the back of the tub, 1/2 of an inch down from the top deck. This one I mash in really well because this is a rough cast iron surface back here, so works as much of the air out from under it as possible. And there we are. Another detail I like to have on my Farmalls are these Donaldson, it's called a collector pre-cleaner, air cleaner top. I think they just have so much more style than the mushroom top style that came from the factory on these tractors. You get the glass ball jar, and you can put the tractor brand of your choice in there. But yeah, I like the look of them, and I like how they function. And you can actually, as you operate in dusty conditions, watch the air swirl and the dust settle out, and they actually do a very, very good job. Yeah, looks good on there. I was able to source a reproduction Donaldson collector pre-cleaner decal as well for the top of it. Full instructions on here. Caution, pre-cleaner removes only part of dirt. Service oil washed air cleaner as instructed. Empty pre-cleaner jar when 3/4 full. I have never seen one of these fill up 3/4 of the way. You would have to be operating some very long hours in some very dirty conditions, but also remove pre-cleaner occasionally and wash in kerosene with air cleaner cup removed, clean full length of air inlet tube. Donaldson Company Inc. Printed and made in USA. Yeah, that's nice. I think it's the decal on top just really sets it off. All right, everybody. Believe it or not, we're down to the last piece, the emblem that goes on the front. And we're just remembering where we started with this tractor, with the old war era stamped steel emblem. This is the one that my grandfather hand painted about 25 years ago now. The last time he had put any paint on this tractor. So that'll be a good keepsake wall hanger for the shelf. But yeah, to finish it off, we've got the new Repop Farmall emblem. I think will look very, very good on there. So getting everything ready here. And there it is. We're finished. Well, I can honestly say that in my lifetime, this H has never looked this nice. And yeah, like I said, it was a long road getting here. What was originally supposed to be about a 4 to 5 month cosmetic restoration drug into 2 years plus with unforeseen mechanical issues and health issues and delays upon delays. But we did it. We're there. Finally found the end of it. So yeah, quite a lot about the H has changed, but quite a lot still remains the same as well. So, okay. Very, very happy to be this far with this tractor. So for the most part, we are done. But 2 pieces left on the bench. Here's the clamp for the muffler, all right? And I'm not going to put that on because we have to take the muffler off to get it out this door. And we'll likely be storing this tractor in Senior's small little garage up on the field. And it has the same size doors, so the muffler had to come back off to get it back in there. So we're not worrying about that clamp. The other piece is a Repro drawbar stop that I purchased. Goes back here, just like that, holds everything centered. This is gonna have to be scuffed down and repainted to match the rest of the tractor. I'm not doing that until it's warm out. Plus, there's always one more thing you could do to these things. I don't think anyone's ever been fully finished with a tractor, but I'm going to see if I can find one of those IH landside hitch attachments to go back here. It was used a lot for moldboard plowing on hillsides. It consists of some bracketry that bolts to the swing plate, and there's a quadrant with a adjustable lever up here, goes side to side, and it just basically provides minute offset adjustments to the swinging drawbar so that you can change, how the implement trails on side hills, drift it out, drift it in, what have you. They're around. They're a bit hard to find, but I think one of those would look really good on this tractor. Plus, this is probably only going to be used for plow days from here on out anyhow, so it wouldn't be in the way of anything else. I think I have a line on one, but that's going to be the next little project for this. So if I find one of those adjustable hitches, I'll paint that at the same time as I paint the drawbar stop. So I hope you all enjoyed the project, and I should mention it is no longer Preparation H. It's back to being just the H because the preparations are now complete. So I hope you all enjoyed the project. Once again, you can dial up the Farmall H Restoration Series playlist to go watch everything in order from start to finish if you so choose. Beyond that, I think we're finished here. So we'll get this out and try to get it moved up to the shed. But thank you all for watching. It's been a long ride, and I hope to see you back for the next adventure.